Good morning. Today we're going to talk about spiritual gifts, how to identify them, whether you have them or not, and how to kind of cultivate them. So we're going to get started on describing all the different kinds of ways of being spiritually tuned in so that you can kind of gauge whether or not you possess these already, help you make sense of your gifts, and move forward with clarity. So the first one, and I would say the most commonly known, is clairvoyance. It's where you see images in your mind's eye, okay? Some people would call this the third eye, but basically when you close your eyes and you see an image in your mind, that's your mind's eye, okay? That's your, not everybody can do that, by the way. Not everybody can close their eyes and visualize something. That's actually a gift in and of itself. So being able to visualize, have a very creative and visual brain is part of how you create the life of your dreams. So being clairvoyant really helps with that because you can be really intense and intricate in imagining the life of your dreams, all right? So I'm kind of mixing things in here. So this is not for beginners, I guess, but if you're interested in hearing more about this, I can start posting more. In any case, clairvoyance comes in the form of dreams. So if you have a lot of really vivid dreams, if you had lucid dreams, prophetic dreams, this is all part of your bigger, broader gift of clairvoyance. Okay, I've had it since I was a little kid. I've been having crazy, intense, and prophetic dreams since I was a child. And I also have visions while I'm with my eyes open. So while I'll just be sitting here, I'll have visions. They kind of like are superimposed against the background of just normal life. So say, for example, I'm looking at a person, I might just have a vision kind of pop up in my mind's eye area, but while my eyes are open. So it's harder to describe, maybe less common, but still obviously very, very connected to clairvoyance. Okay, that means clear seeing. So each clairvoyant, claircognizant, clairsentient, and Clareaudience represent a clear gift. Clear something, clear sight, clear hearing, clear knowing, clear feeling. So we did clairvoyance. There's obviously a whole lot more I could dive into with that, but Clairaudience is where you hear your guides and angels speak to you through words, actual words that you hear. It's very quietly, it's usually not very loud. Oftentimes I'll hear things when I first wake up, especially. Sometimes we don't even notice. A lot of times, especially if you've had this gift since you were a child like me, you'll just hear the voice and you just assume it's your own brain having thoughts, but it's not, okay? And it's different from the ego mind, which is always petulant and demanding and judging, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like a little whisper. It's like a little angel whispering in your ear. Another fun fact, if you're a musician or a singer, is that when you hear harmonies in your head, that's part of your clairvoyant gift. I started unlocking that when I was a teenager. So that's a really cool part of it as well, is that basically your angels are telling you what key to sing in. It's pretty fucking cool. But anyway, that's Clairaudience. It can be incredibly helpful. Pay attention, listen, get quiet. This is why meditation is so important, because you can kind of sift through all the noise and chaos of the brain and the nervous system and all the shit that's going on, especially if we're in survival mode. There's just a whole lot of noise. It's kind of like if a bunch of car alarms started going off in the neighborhood and then they just continued to go off. You would have to get really mindful to be able to pick up subtler things underneath that noise, wouldn't you? That's kind of like what tuning into your spiritual gifts is like. You tune into your body, you get quiet, you kind of feel your way around. You're not using such obvious signals as blaring noises and big hand gestures. Your spiritual gifts come in more of a subtle way. And so this leads us directly to the next one, which is Claircognizance, so Clairaudience means clear hearing. Claircognizance means clear knowing. It's when you, although I was going to say the other one, but we'll just keep moving. Clear knowing is when you just know things, okay? I've had this since I was a little kid as well, and it's bizarre because you don't know why you know things, but there isn't this normal ego part of you that doubts your knowing. It's not like I think this, I think that. You just know something. You don't know why you know it, but you just know it. That's called Claircognizance, and that's a spiritual gift that's probably the most confusing and elusive of all of them, because there is no real reason that you should know it. There is no evidence, there is no file, there is no whisper or vision or anything. It's just like yep, I know that. So that takes a lot of confidence to rock and own that one. I've had it since I was a little kid. My mom started utilizing it when I was young as well, whether she was aware of it or not. I'm pretty sure she was, because she's also a spiritual teacher and a pretty gifted psychic as well, though she doesn't have all the gifts that I have. So that makes sense why she would be using that that one for herself. But anyway, Clairsentience is the next one, and that's when you are clear feeling. That means that you feel, oftentimes it means that you are not just an empath, but you're a clairsentient empath, which means that you feel people's emotions, whether you're with them or not. They could be across the country and you could still feel them. This could also mean that if you're a medium as well, like I am, where you can communicate with deceased loved ones and pass on, deceased loved ones or angelic beings, that you can feel the energy that they were in or things that they want to say. So if you're communicating with passed on loved ones, you could probably feel their emotions as if they were still alive. It's kind of confusing. This one's real confusing. But it's also a really amazing bullshit detector, because if you are Clairsentient and somebody tells you a lie, you can kind of feel, you might not know what the truth is, but you're going to know that it's not the truth. You're going to be like, no, I can feel your energy and it's not in alignment with what you're saying, and it's a bullshit detector. So being psychic has a lot of perks. Use it wisely, use it with good intentions. You know what I mean? Just like anything. Be a good person, all right? Being a witch isn't a bad thing. Being a witch just means that you're harnessing all your gifts with intention. What that intention is up to each individual person. That's what makes somebody a good witch or a bad witch, all right? Harry Potter came around and kind of reintroduced the concept of good witches and wizards, and so we're gonna stay focused on that. Always good intentions, but utilize your gifts. They're important. They're gonna help guide you through difficult situations. They're gonna help guide you away from people that don't have your best interest at heart. They're going to guide you toward your soul path, toward the people that are for you, toward all the experiences that you've been trying to align with. That's why it's so important to meditate, like I said, and get quiet. At the very, very least, just get quiet with yourself and observe what's going on in your system. How does my body feel? You know, how do I feel mentally? What's going on up here? Can I differentiate between the chaos and noise of my ego and my survival instincts versus the subtle whispers of my intuition and my inner guidance? Okay, again, via Clare Audience, Claircognizance, Clairsentience, and Clairvoyance. Save this video if you want to be able to visit this and learn more about these gifts. If you want to work one-on-one with me to discern which gifts you have, how to use them, how to recognize them, how to wield them, any of that, I'd be honored to work with you. Okay, go to sacredmuseproject.com. Please don't get scammed. I will never reach out to you first. Make sure to go through my website so you're not dealing with somebody who's, again, listen to your intuition. There are definitely people out there trying to scam people, and yeah. So if it's a deal that seems too good to be true, it probably is, okay? But yeah, listen to your intuitive gifts, get plugged into your body, get plugged into your center, give yourself some love today, and just know that this is a really intense period of time, y'all. We're in heavy new moon energy. It's very watery. We're in Cancer season. We just switched over. We also just changed seasons, so the energy is definitely different than it was even a few days ago. Give yourself a minute to kind of acclimate to this new energy that we're in, and be patient with yourself. And again, if you want to work with me for a private reading or some deeper dive work, go to sacredmuseproject.com. You can also just donate or tithe into this work that I do every day pretty much for free. I did leave a lucrative business to do this work. I'm also here to guide other people out of the things that they might have thought their soul signed up to do, for what they actually signed up to do, which is what God had to do with me first so that I could help others. And that's pretty much why I'm on here talking all the time, because I'm part of this global awakening. I'm here to shake things up. I'm here to wake people up to their gifts, to God, back to source, back to self-love, back to loving each other, back to getting quiet, back to being grateful. I was going to say graceful. Yeah, graceful and grateful. And just to a place of purity and peace, because that's where we're headed. I know it looks crazy, like chaos and madness, and that's even more why we need to learn how to plug in and listen to our intuition, because it will guide us. All right? It is guiding you right now. I love you. If you don't currently follow me, please do, and I will see you soon. Have a beautiful day.